Hi everyone, welcome to Knox Farm State Park. I'm Matt Nustine, an environmental educator with the Niagara Region Interpretive Programs Office of the New York State Parks. And as you look around, you can notice I'm surrounded by a wide variety of flowers. Now in the past you might have wondered, why do plants produce flowers? Why do they go through all the trouble of doing so? And that's a great question to ask because it does require a lot of energy and resources for the plants to produce flowers. So what we are seeing is millions of years of coevolution. So that is adaptations that have been driven by the interactions of two groups of organisms. So we know the first group of organisms in our story, the flowers. Can you think of who the second group of organisms might be? If you said pollinators, you would be correct. This is the story of plants and pollinators. So as we begin our story, you might be introduced to two new words, pollinator and pollination. Let's take a closer look at what those words mean.
Most plants reproduce by producing some sort of seed, and they need pollen from a neighboring plant to do so. We use the word pollination to refer to the transfer of the flower's pollen grains from its anther, the male part of the flower, to the stigma, the female part of the flower. This transfer of pollen is a critical process for plant reproduction as it fertilizes the plant, allowing for the production of its seeds. Pollen, however, needs a way to get to a nearby flower, and that's where our other word comes into play, the pollinator. A pollinator is anything that helps transfer the pollen grains to the male and female parts of the flower. If you have ever spent time enjoying a walk through a patch of wildflowers, or even enjoying time in your own flower gardens at home, you have probably had the good fortune to observe some incredible insects like butterflies, bees, and perhaps even a small, fast-flying bird like a ruby-throated hummingbird. These are all animal pollinators, and when they visit a flower, the pollen grains often stick to them, helping to ensure the pollen is brought to a different flower.
Back in our garden, we can take a closer look at the different types of flowers. You'll see that some of the flowers are red, others are a dark blue or purple, some are hanging, others grow in a cluster. I am also getting a strong fragrance, a nice smell coming from the flowers. These are all adaptations that have evolved to attract pollinators to the flowers.
However, different pollinators look for different characteristics in a flower. Hummingbirds, for example, like bright red tubular flowers. Bees, however, like flowers with a landing platform. The preferences of different pollinators help drive the evolution of flower characteristics.
While colors and smells produced by flowers are certainly appealing, why do pollinators choose to continually visit them? This is the second part of our story.
The flowers are visited by pollinators, helping to ensure pollination, and in return, the pollinators receive food in the form of nectar, a sugary liquid that the plants produce.
So after millions of years of coevolution, a relationship has been struck, where both plants and pollinators benefit. This isn't the end of our story, however. There is a third part that involves us. Many of our favorite foods and drinks are only available to us because of the process of pollination. Without pollination and pollinators, we wouldn't be able to enjoy the sweet taste of our favorite fruits or enjoy our favorite sugary snacks. A nice cold glass of lemonade on a hot summer day is only available to us because of pollinators.
Approximately 75% of flowering plants and 35% of our food crops are directly pollinated by animals like bees and butterflies. That is why it is so important we do our part in the story to ensure we protect and help the plants and pollinators that provide us food. There are many ways we can help pollinators. We can plant gardens in our yards, making sure to only use native plants. A local plant nursery that specializes in native plants can help you get started. We can use less herbicides and pesticides, which often harm beneficial plants and insects. And we can clean up and protect our local waterways, ensuring clean water is available to all.
These are but a few ways you can help. Get together with friends and family to talk about ways you can make a difference to help ensure we have healthy ecosystems for generations to come. Thanks for watching, guys, and be sure to get outside and enjoy the story of plants and pollinators.